and the goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Sweet, that intro is my new favorite band. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited to be on.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that you might be able to play that song live today.
You heard correctly. Yes.
Excellent. So,
good enough for Robin.
I don't know when I rock out here on your next favorite band and show.
and listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band.
Phil, you weren't supposed to make me get all... God almighty,
But this
Phil.
is why we do it.
Like, seriously. I gotta gather myself. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot, up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar.
Day 5 of our Musikfest daily live streams broadcasting from Godfrey Daniels. Our guests today include Managing Director of Godfrey Daniels, Ramona LaBarre, and the Amish Outlaws.
Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be
Your next favorite band.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese. I am joined by guest co-host.
Ramar. Hi, everybody. Happy to be here, Philip. Thank
And you are listening to...
Your next favorite band.
Yes. We're like... I always, like I said yesterday, I was like, I never know what's going to come out of the mouth of the guests when I point to them. If they listen to the show or if they don't, I'm just always like, what are they going to say? But it's kind of fun for me just to never know what's going to happen. But you nailed it.
It's revealing.
Well done there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, I owe you so many thanks. First of all, for coming on the show today, but actually primarily for letting us always set up here during Musikfest.
We're happy to do that. The space sits empty. We're happy that it's put to such good use.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
it is
so much going on out there all around us.
It's such a neat thing, especially some people. George Harab, is on this stage often. Blair Crimmins remembers being on this stage years ago. So people are familiar. Then other ones have always wanted to be on the stage. So like Aaron Kelly, Dustin Douglas, they're all just like, oh, let's get in here. Or maybe have been here as like an opener for somebody. You know, it was like, they want to, that's almost, it's an aspirational stage for these different musicians to be on.
It's a good adjective.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So wanted to start off first with giving people some updates on weather. It's coming. There is some today. And there's some more down the road, but we're going to let that kind of, it is the one thing I learned from Bobby Martrich, the weather guy who always helps us out with kind of getting ready for the festival and then getting, more up to speed on these changes that happen. Something like a storm, like a tropical storm is unpredictable. It may go faster, it may go slower, it may go out to sea, it's just whatever. But he's pretty sure it's going to hit more like late Thursday into Friday and do some stuff. But for today, we have a totally different storm that's coming through. Basically, from 4:30 on, it could start in. It's probably going to kick up around 7 or so. So there's a couple adjustments for today on the festival grounds. Things like the kids section, familial plots, and then the people who set up their crafts and such, which is called handwork plots. Both of those are shut down for today. And they're just doing the whole out of an abundance of caution, but also you just don't need their stuff ruined or kids getting, so it's a smart move there. They also moved the start time for the headliner up to 5 o'clock. Hopefully people are able to get out of work early. It's Old Dominion.
Okay.
Sold out show. I feel so bad for this whole thing, but they should, if they start at 5, get it all in before the rain happens, or at least dangerous rain. So fingers crossed there. And then some stage changes. So even on our picks of the day, but in essence, anything that was on the smaller stage by the Arts Quest building, which is called like Highmark Blue Shield Community Stage or something along those lines. They just moved it inside to the Palette and Pour stage, which is like literally on the other side of that glass.
Right.
So not much of a change there for people who were going to go down there, like Emma Bachrath, who's on our pick of the list for today. We would just be in that same general vicinity. And then Amish Outlaws, one of our other picks for the today and guest of later after Ramona, from the America stage inside to the Musikfest Cafe.
Great.
So a couple of updates there, maybe more coming, but wanted to give everybody the kind of the latest updates. But should be able to fest from say 4 to 7. After that's more questionable, but you might as well. I'm the type of person I'm going to go give it a shot. I wear flip-flops because it's going to be muddy and wet anyway. Whatever. So that's that updates.
Mother Nature.
That's right. And we always like to do this. So these are our. So even though Ramona, you're a co-host right now, you're not a guest.
Okay.
Just want to make sure you understand that. So here we're going to talk about our picks of the day. Our fave of the day is this band that I didn't hear of before the festival lineup this year, and I've fallen in love with. This is like basically one of the bands I'm most excited to see that I've never seen before. They're called Fantastic Cat. Do you know anything about them?
No.
All right, wait till you hear more about their story. Then Emma Bachrath, we talked about that already, 4:30 on that now Palette and Pour stage. Attack Dog, 5:30. This is, again, we're starting to get into where it might be a little more questionable. Ocean Avenue Stompers, they're on America Plots at 6. I almost hope for their sake they get moved inside, too. And then Amish Outlaws, that rounds out our picks of the day. But we always like to play a little bit of a track from each one of them. So let's start with Fantastic Cat. What they are is 4 separate singer-songwriter types who are all successful in their own right. So it's somewhat of a supergroup type. And these are all words that they have on their website. Basically, they call themselves just picture Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, but none of them are famous. And then they have other like little clips of stuff. But anyway, they're very, very funny. They don't write comedic music. They write beautiful, amazing music. But they are 4 obviously incredibly funny people because they have this incredible vibe about them, their website, everything they do. And on this video, it's like a minute lead-in, but it's so funny. I was going to, normally if there's like a big intro, I want to get to the music, but it's so well done. We're just going to enjoy the skit and the song here of Fantastic Cat. Check out their song called Oh Man.
And we're rolling.
Okay, welcome back to Pocono Mountain AM on Public Access Channel 88. Brought to you by the Pocono Mountain Community College AV Club. So this morning we've got a folk rock group called Fantastic Cat who's making their Pocono area cable debut. So what do we have here? Let's see, Mike on drums, Anthony on electric bass, and Brian on electric guitar, and Don on acoustic guitar with a pickup, I believe. So, boys, what exactly are we going to be hearing from you fellas this morning?
Oh man.
There we have it. The Fantastic Cat doing their brand new hit single, Oh Man.
Shit and he headed for LA, but he only had the gas so to get him halfway. So now he lives in Indiana. Oh man, we're just doing the best we can. Oh man, we're all doing the best.
Sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah, on second thought, I think I saw these guys down at Sellersville, but I don't remember all their names.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they are. And the other really, really neat thing about them is they change instruments. I don't know if after every song, but they all play every instrument, literally during the set. So, and even if you watch a couple of their videos, if you don't know that ahead of time, you're like, wait, that guy was on the drums before. Now he's got the acoustic guitar, and the bassist has the lead guitar. And yeah, so they just seem like they just have a blast performing together, writing songs together. They have a countdown. You know how sometimes you can put something on your website or just like put a countdown of how long till vacation or how long till, our wedding day, something like that. They have a countdown on their website on how long it'll be before they're eligible to join the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
So where are they today?
They will be on Stadplatz at 7:30. Again, fingers crossed the weather holds out for this, especially since so many people are looking forward to this happening.
Wow.
But amazing music. Many songs in the catalog are just incredible.
Cool.
Next, we're going to bring on some music from Emma Bachrath, another one I didn't know of before the research. That's what I love about Musikfest is, now having done the show for 2 years and, have been going down to the festival for about 9 or 10 taking it seriously, like multiple days of the festival. I now recognize a bunch, but I still every year get blown away by the amount of outstanding musicians I've never heard before.
That is mind-blowing.
Yes, and then the other part, and this speaks to what we'll probably talk about a bunch, is the amount of local talent, like Lehigh Valley-based exceptional musicians. Yes. This is one of them, Emma Bachrath and her song Captain. Today's performance, in addition to being preserved because she got moved into the Palette and Pour stage, is obviously being a younger musician. You're often gigging as a solo artist, as a singer-songwriter. Today she is full band.
So how many pieces of brass are in that band?
So I think this was for a Tiny Desk contest, but I believe there's 3 and a stand-up bass. I don't know what her this very well could be her regular band. Again, I've never seen her before, but I can't wait to check it out. But it is full band, on her posts. She plays a solo set Thursday at noon. That's what cracks me up. Like this festival's a 12-hour thing every day for 10 days. And then she's going to come by here. So she plays from 12 to 1, and then she's going to join the live stream on Thursday at 3. So we'll get to learn a lot more about her backstory. But I wanted to be able to go over and see the full band version of things, just because her sound is amazing. If you check out her album on streaming or whatever, it's really, really good stuff.
Cool. Do you know who she's recording with?
I don't.
Like the studio?
No. That's what I mean is once they're on the show, I can answer questions like that. Okay. But before that, I'm always just, again, the volume of incredible talent that you've never heard of, even when you're connected to,
That's true.
backstories of things. It's just like, wow, it's so very humbling and very, very cool. It gives me, rather than being annoyed when I look at the lineup of something like Musikfest of 400 bands and I'm like, oh, darn, this one's not on there, this one's not on there, this one's not on there. I'm like, wow, I can't wait to see who am I going to learn about this year. And there were 2 on full display. Here's another one. This band is a completely different sound from the ones you've heard so far. This is more of an alt-rock sound from a band called Attack Dog. They're out of Philly, and this is their song called Grin.
Wait.
Really enjoy this sound. I can't wait to see the live version. Kids being kids. I mean, it's just like so It's a joy to watch.
Yeah, I've heard of them too.
Uh-huh.
I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, same thing. Really love it. Again, bunch of people clearly having a great time playing music
Yeah.
together. Love it.
Eating lunch meat.
Eating lunch meat.
While driving.
Having quiche. Playing amazing music. It looks like their shows are pretty wild. So they are on Plaza Tropical at 5:30. Again, the hope there being that we get to fit in either most, if not all, of that one. If there's no thunder or lightning and it's just rain, it can continue because that's one of the tented stages. But we shall see. The next one we want to point out is Ocean Avenue Stompers. Another one I don't know a ton about. I know they get connected to a lot of the other festivals in the area, like Sing Us Home and that kind of stuff. They're more of your classic New Orleans style second line type performances. You'll see it on here. The video I grabbed because it's so perfect for their vibe is they're from Asbury Park, New Jersey. They just start walking around the streets. I don't think for any reason other than just they wanted to do it and they filmed it and people are like probably know who they are and they're like, just opening up their windows to be able to take in the Ocean Avenue Stompers. So here, check them out. I think they're playing Free Fallin'. I gotta say, this is definitely the first time I've ever featured both a tuba and a sousaphone in two different artists in the top 5, exactly. And the only reason why I learned what the difference is between a sousaphone and a tuba is you can walk around with a sousaphone.
That's what they use in the marching band.
Yeah.
My daughter played one.
Well,
That's
how about
why I
that?
know that.
Yeah. I learned that from another band I learned through Musikfest, Red Barat. And the dude plays the sousaphone, and we spent some time talking about that. But anyway, they are 6 o'clock, America Platz again. Very good chance they move that one inside, if they can. Sometimes that stage is already booked by someone else, and then they just have to take their chances that the storm won't start until later than this. So right now, no change there, but download the Musikfest app, and they will give you updates all the time, and follow them on Instagram. You'll get stuff there, too. And I'm going to hold back the Amish Outlaws for a transition to them, and that'll be how we bring them on the show. But you're no longer a co-host, you're now a guest.
Okay.
Welcome to the show, Ramona LaBarre.
Thank you.
Managing Director, Godfrey Daniels.
Thank you for having me, Philip.
Oh, thank you. No, listen, this is such a generous thing that you all do to let me set up here. It's so nice to be able to... Positioning for the festival, whether a guest has to go to North Side after they're done, like most of the ones that have been on this week, or like the Amish Outlaws going to South Side after this. It's so well, I always say, far enough away that parking isn't a bear, but close enough that you can get back to whatever stage you need to in minutes. So that's huge. It's an air-conditioned space. So that's huge. Anyway, so super thank you for that.
Thank you.
And so let's first talk about the space. So for people who may not know Godfrey Daniels, 48 years in existence. It's I always kind of refer to it as like a 75-person space. It's flexible. And it's an incredible... We were talking about it here because the Amish Outlaws picked it up when they first walked in. They were just like, there's a special thing in this space where you can just feel it when you walk in. The acoustics are amazing. The intimacy of the space with the performer is amazing. So please just talk about maybe a little bit more of kind of the history of the club.
Well, it's like a concert in your living room.
Yep.
So, founded by Dave Fry and Cindy Dinsmore. Dave was influenced, I was talking about this earlier, by his visits to Cafe Lena in Saratoga Springs, which opened in 1960.
And I always say Dave Fry's probably on the Mount Rushmore of like Lehigh Valley musicians.
Yes, he is. And a renowned family performing artist as well.
I've had people on the show who say, I used to watch his How to Learn to Play the Guitar on the PBS channel, who grew up around here.
Yes.
So it's like, that's how big a deal he is.
I think that, I could be wrong, but I think that Dave Fry and Craig Thatcher are certainly two artists that we all know who have played Musikfest every year.
Every year, yes.
Since it started in the 1980s. Which Musikfest is it this year, by the way?
41st. Last year was their 40th anniversary.
Okay.
40th Musikfest. It's not an anniversary because year one is year one, not zero.
So a long time. So yeah, they started it, and started with local artists, and then got on to some of the artists who were maybe performing in New York or Philly, making their way through, and then once some of those artists here, like Norman and Nancy Blake, come to mind. Stan Rogers and his brother Garnet Rogers. Robin and Linda Williams were some early performers. Roy Bookbinder, Chris Smither, John Gorka, of course.
Yeah.
Then word of mouth got out there because obviously the internet wasn't around back then.
Yeah. Because one of the things that Dave wanted was a space that wasn't a bar, that people who were coming into it were going to be listening to the musician. You're not just off in the corner, being ignored. So that was predominantly where it was coming from, and also, so now it is a very and having things like Godfrey Daniels, like Musikfest, has also just brought a very music appreciative audience to this area. A lot of people always mention on the show they love playing Bethlehem.
It's also helped to develop the younger artists.
Totally.
I think they come from that. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember years ago in the 90s, there was a big band here from probably C.J. Chenier's band from Louisiana. And they had this one percussion guy. He was a big guy. He played the triangle, but he was heard offstage, saying he was really kind of stunned and stopped in his tracks to look up and see that people were looking at the band on the stage. It wasn't a bar setting. They were accustomed to playing in. So
and people are welcome to bring beer or wine.
Yes.
There's nothing for sale, but you can bring your own.
No alcohol, but we have coffee, teas, soft drinks, fresh baked goods from Z-Craft around the corner.
Yeah, it's a wonderful experience.
It's very welcoming space, staffed by volunteers, very dedicated volunteers.
Yeah, it is a nonprofit, so we always want to point that out too. If you go to the site, which let's bring it up now, you can become a supporting member. You can.
Like you?
That's true, I am. And that you need to do that in your community. If you see somebody doing great work and they're a nonprofit, you got to support them. So you can either flat out make a donation of a certain amount, or you can become that kind of supporting member where it's more of either a monthly or an annual charge. But it's super important for organizations like this to know what they can kind of count on. Yes, and then purchase tickets to shows.
Yes. So support comes in all sizes. I mean, we're grateful for our supporting members. Also for our volunteers who come in every weekend and help to set up the room, seat folks, greet folks, pour the coffee, and our donors. But also, if you're buying a ticket to a concert, you are supporting Godfrey Daniels.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about the Musikfest day. So there's a Godfrey Daniels stage where you curate the lineup.
Yes.
And it's on the Sunday, the last day of the festival. Yes. In that Sun Inn courtyard, which is known as Later Plots.
Right.
Yeah. So, and there's this amazing opportunity going on now. You can purchase raffle tickets now. You can get them that day too. But that's the day they pull the ticket that you can win a Martin guitar, and a really good one. Not like they're all good, but like this is it's a high end one.
And this has been going on for 25 years.
That's so
We've been
cool.
Giving guitars away down there for that long.
That's amazing.
Had an afternoon, evening there. That was Godfrey Daniels Day. So this year we have, they're all veterans of our room. We have bluesman Todd Albright.
Here it is here.
Heather Pearson.
So Todd goes on at noon.
Yes.
Yeah. Then 1:30, Heather Pearson duo.
3 o'clock, Sloan Wainwright. 4:30, Big Lazy from New York City. And then also from New York City at 6:30 p.m., Danelia Cotton, who happens to be... there's a reason she's headlining.
Yeah, right. That's what I was going to say. It's like, this is always such a special opportunity to really get that Musikfest experience, but with that kind of Godfrey Daniels vibe.
Yes, and we want to...
Because the venue is predominantly folk, certainly not exclusive, but that's where the things were kind of founded and carried through many of the years.
Yes.
But obviously you do have diverse offerings along the way.
Right, and there's such a community here. We heard of Big Lazy from our friends at WGIY who were giving him a lot of airplay and recommended that we bring him in, and we did, and we're so glad that we did. And
absolutely.
Danelia Cotton. Danelia is no stranger to Arts Quest. She played at the big stage down there. I'm slipping my mind right now.
Like the Levitt Pavilion?
Yeah, she played at the Levitt 2 or 3 years ago, and I think Dean Hall opened for her.
Oh, very cool.
And we're happy to have her in. And just put these artists in front of a bigger audience, and hopefully they'll follow them back to Godfrey's.
Yeah, and pretty much for the month of August, you take that month off A lot
Yes.
going on with Musikfest, a lot going on with, back to school and all that stuff.
Yes.
So things ramp back up in September, correct?
Yes.
And then anything to promote in the fall here?
So we've got a lot of old and a lot of new. A lot of artists who are with us every year. Happy to see them come back. The Glengarry Boys, Serene Green. Mike Ferris is coming in from Nashville. Abby Gardner, Ann Hills, John Gorka, the Kennedys, Chris Smither. New this year, we have in September Alash, who are a group of Tuvan throat singers.
Oh my
they're
gosh,
a lot
that's
of fun.
cool.
Yeah, world music. And also a new band in December coming called Windborn. They're also at the Philly Folk Fest this year.
Oh, nice.
So
And you have stuff that goes on at Philly Folk Fest too, right?
we this year.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
We were invited to curate a stage.
Oh, fun.
At Philly, so it's what they call their workshop. It's a workshop stage.
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
We have 4 singer-songwriters, Lenny Kay, Mary Badiata, who will be here at Godfrey's in February. She hasn't played Godfrey's yet, but
Yep.
we've been trying for a while. Jack Murray
Nice.
and Christine Havrilla, who is also another Godfrey.
I love
Fellow's
Christine
favorite.
Havrilla.
Yeah.
Her music is excellent.
And Lenny Kay is raising eyebrows. I'm glad to say. There's a cover story on today's Philly Inquirer about him being part of their lineup this year as 5 picks that are not the big names on the main stage. So we're
Wow.
really excited. We're so happy that he answered our invitation to come. He's Patti Smith's band leader for 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and a writer. He's got some books out, and a music critic from back in the 50s. You've read his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He's written for all of the magazines, and so yeah, they're all singer-songwriters, and I'm super excited to have them on stage together.
That is cool, especially since this place isn't open in August. It's cool to
Correct.
have a stage at Musikfest, a stage at Philly Folk Fest.
Yes.
It only makes a ton of sense.
Yes.
And
Thank
then it allows you to kind of continue that through. And then, again, thank you again for letting me to kind of borrow the space.
Yeah, it's reciprocal. We love it. We
Yep,
love it.
Absolutely. So yeah, anything else to promote? I mean, that was a ton. So if not, no worries. But
So I'm remembering when I was here with you last year, we talked about new stuff that's coming to Godfrey's, and
Yeah.
I mentioned hip hop and comedy. We
Yeah.
didn't quite make it to hip hop. Still working on that, but
Got
we
it.
do have a comedy series that we kind of started. We've done a couple of them, and we're
Yep.
going to start that in September.
That is very
with
cool.
Kate Hughes. I think
Yeah.
she's going to be your guest here later this week.
yes, on that Sunday
Yeah.
because the stage is usually earlier on the weekends just because there's so much going on.
Right.
But yeah, Kate Hughes will be on Sunday on the 11th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's a performer in her own right, and we're
Yeah,
proud
no,
to
she's
have
wonderful.
her
She's got a
part of
great
our
great
community.
routine and always writing new stuff.
Yeah.
And she's another great supporter because she's on the radio around here as well and kind of brings on people who I have on the show or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, she really knows her stuff. Well,
cool.
she has a radio show.
That's what I mean. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
That's a great way to kind of promote some things of what's going on.
Yeah.
But cool. Thank you so much, Ramona. Thank you for everything and for coming on and curating such wonderful lists. I can't wait to
Thanks
catch
for having
some
me.
of these acts. And so everyone, either if you're local, buy tickets to shows that are here. It's a great space. Buy a raffle ticket to Warren and Martin. Come down to these sets that are free. Well, not Philly Folk Fest, but Musikfest is free.
Worth it.
It's totally worth it, absolutely, because there's more other stuff going on there too. That's amazing.
So yes, so the raffle tickets. If you're not going to be out at Musikfest, you're not around on Sunday. You don't have to be present to win. Mm-hmm. We have them at the Compact Disc Center. You can pick them up right now
Awesome.
through Friday.
That's cool.
And Mary's a good partner with us over there.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
we're looking forward to Sunday.
Yeah, definitely get to know Godfrey Daniels and follow them on social media. A lot of cool stuff.
GodfreyDaniels.org.
There you are.
Click
Ladies and gentlemen.
the Gazette button, sign up, find out, get on the email
right.
list, find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Thanks a million, Philip.
Thank you.
It's been great.
Yeah. And we're going to transition here to the Amish Outlaws. While we get them into the chairs, let's play the video about what they are and all the great music that they get to play. If you've never heard it before, this will be a great introduction to them. It's kind of like an overview. Check out some Amish Outlaws.
No doubt. It does kind of look like a musical group on that bench with the Red Sox. Maybe the Amish Outlaws, one of Jack Curry's faves.
Have you ever seen the Amish Outlaws in person?
Get out the way!
They are a great cover band, by the way. Anything you want played, they can play it. They're awesome.
Jack Curry turned me on to him, yeah. Google the Amish Outlaws. Check them out.
What can you say about that show? An absolutely packed crowd.
It's a bold statement, but I don't know that I've seen Festplatz that packed. But it was a great show.
I don't think they want to go home. I'm getting that feeling.
Well, the good news is that if you want to see the Amish Outlaws again, you can come on down tomorrow night.
On this side, we've got Black Sabbath. Who likes Black Sabbath? On this side, we've got Ludacris. Who likes Ludacris?
So we welcome to the show Brother Hezekiah, Brother Jacob, Brother Ezekiel, and we'll get into the better names in a second. I just wanted to do that as quick as I can. The Amish Outlaws.
Yay!
Thank you guys so much for coming on the show.
No problem. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, what a great honor. This is basically such a great week. Like, in my opinion, like you're kind of a Musikfest royalty. Like, it's the app tracks who people schedule. So, like, you can go into the Musikfest app, you can say, I want to see this band, this band, this band. And then you can go to a different section where it says what's hot, and it'll tell you who has been scheduled the most. Yeah. So you have 2 sets here at Musikfest.
When I think of, like, the word hot, I think of the 3 guys
That's
here.
what I was thinking, too.
We're all really gorgeous. I don't know how many people can see us. Hopefully not as many as I would like, because it's like Brad Pitt, and an even younger Brad Pitt.
And Timothy Chalamet.
If he ate an awful lot of... I did my 10 push-ups. Yeah, Brad Pitt if he ate an awful lot of meatloaf.
Yeah. But your 2 sets are ranking number 1 and number 3 out of the 530 shows that could be picked for this.
That's cool.
That's the most scheduled on there. I think last night was number 1 and tonight is number 3. So yeah, I mean, just so honored to have you on. An incredible story that we're going to get into here about how things kind of got formed, and just happy to have you on. One thing I was going to bring on first, so that we can get into the names, is your website, which is also very, very cool. So we got Brother Hezekiah X.
Yeah.
The other ones here with us today, Brother Easy Ezekiel, and then Brother Jacob the Pipe Layer. Fantastic name. And then the other people who couldn't make it here today, Brother Big Daddy Abel, Brother Snoop Job, and Brother Amos Def. And again, you can see where all of the rap names kind of came from. It's absolutely so clever. It's extremely well done. It took me a minute to get that Brother Big Daddy Abel was opposite of Cain and Abel. Very biblical there. Yeah. That one hit me a little. It was like a joke grenade. It hit me a little bit after.
It's like a tiramisu of references.
But yeah, I mean, website's amazing. We can also kind of learn what everyone's favorite foods are by hovering over them. It's a great website. How do you not love that? But yeah, so again, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And then, so in that opening, basically the announcers for the Yankees were talking about you guys.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
That actually happened. We were here performing at the well, it's now Wind Creek, but it was Sands Casino at the time when I started getting calls and texts and stuff saying they just were talking about you guys in the Yankees. And it's happened, I think, 3 times since.
Wow.
It turns out that Jack Curry, who's the Yankees commentator and the expert, is a big fan of ours and has seen us many times. And he's turned David Cohen on to us and Ken Singleton, and that's how they wound up talking about us the first time. Was the guys from the Red Sox had beards and no mustache.
Sure.
And he said, it looks like, singer of the band, the Amish Outlaws. And then they started talking about us.
He was bald. Yeah.
He was bald.
It was a Yankees-Red Sox game.
Yankees-Red Sox.
It's huge.
Oh, which is going to be the most watched one. Absolutely.
It was like, couldn't have been a better time to get blocked.
Did you notice like a massive explosion on social or anything like that?
At the time, there was Facebook and Instagram. Social media was just kind of starting to really become what everybody did. But our website saw an increase of, 20, 30,000 people that day.
Wow.
And they've talked about us a couple times since. Once, I think it was David Cohen talked about one of the pitchers from the Red Sox used to go like this.
Right, yeah.
And when I play bass a lot, I crouch down and I play bass like this. You know, I get down low to the ground. And he said, it looks like the bass player from the Amish Outlaws, And again, I'm standing in my bedroom. My wife's about to go to bed. I'm a late night person, and then my phone starts going, and she's like, somebody just texted me that they talked about you on the Yankees. They talked about you on the Yankees game, and I was like, whoa. But it's all thanks to Jack Curry. Jack Curry's become a good friend of ours over the years.
That's
Sees
so
us
great.
quite a bit, and they've mentioned us a couple of times.
So let's just quick talk about the show. I mean, you saw there, it's a party. Like you're covering all of the best songs that people want to hear at a festival, and you're doing it exceptionally well.
Thank you.
And so people who listen to the show might be saying I'm hypocritical right now because I often say I'm not going down to see a tribute band or a party band or a cover band. And that's purely because my goal when I go to something like this is to go find new music. But I always have the utmost respect for what you all do. Like, I always try to make sure I point out, by the way, performers in bands like these are some of the most talented, if not the most talented. It's just that they've chosen...
Don't push it.
No, I'm serious. I am totally serious because to emulate... I mean, here's the thing. You have to play that song dead on because if you get it wrong, everybody knows it. You're playing original music and you screw it up. Most people don't even know it because at a festival, it's the first time they're hearing you. So that takes a ton of skill and practice. And
there's a different muscle that's being exercised for sure. But I mean, at the same time,
There's a little room for interpretation.
We're 100% aware that we're not Led Zeppelin. I mean, I don't think it could be more clear, how different it is when somebody, I mean, the music that, a lot of what it is that we play isn't necessarily even music that we truly love.
Mm-hmm.
It's more music that we know we can make extremely enjoyable for people. I mean, there are some songs that I absolutely love to do every night, but
yeah. Well, I will say this: there was a ticketed event. This goes back. Let me think. Probably to 2017 in this Musikfest cafe where you're going to play tonight. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring the kids down. My daughter was 6th grade. My son was 9th grade. I knew it was going to be this fun, this music they would know. Because I always try and drag them down to shows I'm going to, and they're like, Dad, it's boring, and I don't know anything. Where's the cool music? Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah? Watch this. Take you to the Amish Outlaws. Now here we are. These are the two kids with Hezekiah.
Oh, wow. Look at me. And look at them.
Right? They're both in college now, but and they're going to kill me that I'm bringing these pictures up. And then here we are with...
I was going to say, Hez looks younger there.
Yeah, there's me. Somehow I have more gray hair in that picture than now, but don't ask about that. But then here's the best part about it is you all were pointing out that they were the only two kids in the room, and you were worried that, okay, you would kind of saying, oh, I gotta be careful how I say this, but it's not like you were being dirty or anything, but it was just telling fun stories or whatever. And then I think it was Abel, but he was like, hey, everyone is gonna know this song, please sing along, except you two, you definitely don't know it. And it was Country Roads by John Denver. And they know the song and so she starts singing along, and you brought her on stage. So here's my daughter Mari singing Country Roads you all on stage.
And she's in college now.
And and now she's 19. That's and then I think probably because you wanted to make sure you were fair and equitable about it, you did bring Rolling on a River. You brought my son up on stage to dance together.
Oh, wow, we haven't done that in a
Like 4 years.
That's what I said. It was 4 years. Everything pre-COVID feels like 4 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah. It was either 40 years or 2 minutes. I mean. I just wanted to share that purely because it was they had such a fun time.
Fun.
They felt so plugged in on this show and so special.
That's wonderful to hear.
And I only have 10 seconds of each because back then that's what social media did. It was Snapchat. It only let me take that long of a video. I wish I had the whole thing. And the audio sucks too. But anyway, it was fun. I kept it all these years. And then I was like, wait, do I still have those videos? When you guys were coming on, I was like, I hope I have them.
I could say it's one of the things that I love most about our job and what we do is seeing that exact thing, parents with their kids and then grandparents and just multi-generations of families and people of all different ages at our shows. It's just and it is a real surprise to see some of that. Like Take On Me is a song we used to do by AHA. We did it 20 years ago, and we just brought it back recently in the last year. And it's amazing how many kids, maybe it's on TikTok, it's a TikTok thing or something, but kids know every word to that song. Young kids, 6, 7, 8 years old.
I think streaming has just made it, they don't look at what year or decade the music came out, if they're listening to a certain band of today that has that, some of those algorithms start to feed you the older stuff, and they just listen to it.
I'm quite certain that must have been what it was.
That could be, yeah. Is it the Harry Styles song?
Yeah, I was
Someone
going to
that
say
sounds
that
just
Harry
like it.
Styles song that, As It Was, we were playing that one for about 5 minutes. That is a complete ripoff of Take On Me.
That's probably what it is then, yeah.
And then there's the guy with the tattoos on his face. What's his name?
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson below.
Anyway, my point. Oh, and then also Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, also very synonymous of Take On Me. So I'm quite certain that that's probably what it is.
Yeah, I think that's it.
And that song's actually the most downloaded song ever.
Wow.
That Blinding Lights song by the Weeknd. So.
Yeah. But I mean, it's an incredible show. You guys should definitely go check it out. One of the other things I think about having you guys on is to just kind of go through the backstory. That's what we love doing on the show, is like go back towards the beginning and such. And obviously there's going to be unique elements to this story, because I bet you get this all the time, is, are you really Amish?
Somebody yelled at us from his van walking here.
Mm-hmm.
A guy rolled down his window
Yeah.
and yelled, "Hey, you guys are really Amish?"
Yeah.
I said, "Just from the waist down." Oh yeah, we got to play.
I said something a little less nice.
Yep.
That guy's out there.
That's why the
This
Yankees
is his
like
formal
you.
apology.
Yeah, so the quick version here, and then we can kind of move it to is basically there's 3 members who were raised Amish and 3 who are honorary Amish.
Yeah.
I don't think it should matter. It's great music. Just go listen to it.
Thank you.
But if people want to have some backstory, in essence, if I understand it right, Ezekiel, you kind of started, well, basically, people may even want to know about this. There's that around your 16th birthday, which is similar to either in other cultures, there's a quinceanera, there's a bat mitzvah or whatever, a bar mitzvah. There's different elements to this, and in the Amish culture, it's the rumspringa.
Yeah.
And if you wouldn't mind explaining that.
Yeah, it's a Pennsylvania Dutch word that means running around. That's the literal translation. But
Sure.
The Amish, I mean, short story long, the Amish don't believe in baptism as a child. It came from the Anabaptists.
Right.
And the belief is that you should make the choice as an adult to be baptized.
Sure.
So until you're baptized, you're not bound by the church's laws.
Got
It's
it.
almost like a loophole, you could say. So when you turn 16, you go on Rumspringa to go out and experience the world and either reaffirm your faith and say, this is the life I want to lead.
Right.
Or go the other way, which is what we did.
Yeah, right. And if I understand it right, it was primarily, obviously, when you're being raised without electricity, without the ability to play instruments, without alcohol, all these different things. As a 16-year-old, that could just be an explosion of terrible life choices.
Yeah, I mean, for some it is. It's like anything else. I mean, I have friends that got crazy, and then I had friends that did next to nothing.
Right.
I didn't get particularly wild till I got out here, but it's.
But it was music mostly that just grabbed you right away.
Music grabbed me immediately. That was something I had heard some music. I heard modern music out in the world, but it was music is and was and is, wasn't is. It was a life-changing.
Has been and always
is.
shall be.
Yeah, it has been and always shall be.
But the 2 albums, if I got it right, was Sgt. Pepper's and The Wall that in particular just grabbed your ears and never let go.
Yeah, a friend, English friend, a guy I met when I lived in New York, his father had them on vinyl. So he had the fold-outs, and I don't know if you know, Sgt. Pepper's has like the cardboard mustache and all the...
Right.
And The Wall has just all this imagery, and I had never really thought about music as something with a very deep meaning. Mm-hmm. It had just been a distraction, more or less. It's how I perceived it.
Sure.
That really changed music suddenly, like a great book, or as I now know, movies.
Right.
It just became something that meant so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was another phrase I had learned. Let me see if I get it right. Gelassenheit?
Yeah, humility.
Yeah, which had you basically that you're not allowed to play instruments.
Yeah, you can't play musical instruments. It's one of the reasons Amish people all wear the same clothes. So you don't look at somebody else's nicer jacket or pants, or it's the whole spirit of humility.
Yeah.
And that's same with no photos.
Mm-hmm.
Amish dolls that children are given don't have faces. There's no graven images, I guess you would say. Graven.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's about everybody being equal. And based on, I'm not a particularly religious person now, but you're sure, like the fact that Jesus died and the ultimate act of humility, giving himself up for mankind. That's what the Amish try to emulate.
Sure. Yeah. I just thought people might want to know some of those elements to things, and
well, a lot of people always say to us, "Oh, you guys must play acoustic guitars," and I go, "Oh, you think you're smart?" I said, there's no musical instruments amongst the Amish. I couldn't play a flute, I couldn't play a harmonica if I was still practicing Amish.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
Couldn't be on a podcast.
So you start out wanting to start a band. Here's what's amazing is when I was doing some research, I actually couldn't tell serious from sarcasm. So some of my notes may not be accurate.
It's all good.
But you did say it. The first name of the band was
Elephants Gerald.
Elephants
Gerald.
Like apostrophe S, Elephant apostrophe S Gerald.
Yeah.
Which I think is hilarious. But then you eventually was like, wait, let's grab a hold of the Amish.
Yeah. I was mowing my lawn one day, and I, as usual, had way too much coffee. I was just racing, and I was like, we should think about. At the time, there was 4 of us that had been born and raised Amish. One of the other original lead singer left 15, 16 years ago. He was also became a police officer.
Sure.
So we were getting home at 3 a.m. from shows in Seattle City, and he was getting up at 6 and running around the Bronx with a gun. So he made the right choice of retiring.
Right.
But I was like, we should just something Amish. We got to tie it in. And,
sure.
And, I was thinking the Amish Army, the Amish Armada. None of that makes sense because there's no Amish military.
Right.
I said the Amish Outlaws, and I was let go of the handle of my lawnmower and went inside and sat down and just. It all just kind of came pouring out, and I went to the next practice. Said, "We're going to call ourselves the Amish Outlaws. We're going to dress the way we used to dress." Right. Sorry, I said the guys that weren't born and raised Amish. It's not going to be cool, And we're here now. It's been 21 years. It's been our jobs for.
That's what I wanted to point out is like these other shows that have come along. You were first. It's because you started in like 2002.
Yeah, the band started in 2001. But yeah, a lot of people say, "Oh, there's the Amish Mafia." We were around before all that.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Even when the band started, the internet was barely a thing.
Right.
There was no researching. There was no looking up other Amish bands. There was no,
Right.
I remember we didn't even have a website the first couple of years. We were sending out flyers. I was stapling flyers and mailing them to people on our mailing list. You know?
When we used to play in Hoboken, what we would do is we actually went out onto the street and just like with an acoustic guitar and just sang songs as people walked by. And
we walked around with flyers training people, and half would run away thinking we were some sort of like cult.
Sure, right.
Go up with a flyer, and
Yeah,
it was a different time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I think the other element that I want people to understand was there isn't this shun thing where you're still in touch with your families and
that is
they may not be happy with the choice, but
of course,
plenty of parents aren't happy with their kids' choices.
Well, that's that if you join church or you get baptized, join church is one of the phrases we use for it, and then you leave, you'll be shunned.
Sure.
But the door's technically always open for you to come back, although my family now knows it's been 34 years that they figured it out.
Right.
But yeah, the door is always open for us to come back. There's even different levels amongst the Amish of how strict they are, and there's different orders, and there's different.
Right.
And some families will, if the kids aren't baptized, will still shun them. But it's said to be done out of love, as much as it sounds like a harsh thing. The belief is, like most religions, that is the only path to salvation. So they're doing this to bring you back into the fold and back the right way. And
Yeah.
But yeah, we weren't shunned.
Yeah. Cool. Again, these are things where now you don't have to get asked,
it's another
don't
part,
ask to borrow the hat, to have the hat. You don't get the hat. Just don't ask.
Yeah, and that way we're just like Van Halen. Running with the devil.
So you play bass.
I play bass. Yep.
I'm a singer. Yeah.
Belting out the lead vocals. We saw it a little bit on the clip there. But
thank you.
How did you grew up in the Reading area?
Yeah. Well, Christiana.
Okay, yeah, and then
close enough.
Yeah, were you one of the first people to join in?
Okay, when we all kind of moved to New York area, we bumped into each other. It was that sort of thing.
I didn't know. Hez and I didn't know each other growing up. Some keyboard player is a year behind me, a year younger than me, so he was in the same community. He came out a year after, but we met each other randomly.
Yeah, it was like just one of those things where it just kind of made sense to do something about.
Totally. That's the universe just saying.
I grew up in New York, so that's how I.
He was one of the first real friends I made when I moved to New York.
The same area we met through a mutual friend, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah, and you play drums.
Yeah.
And then so any other like early on stories? Anything else you want to share about kind of like the formation of the names and such? That had to be so fun too to kind of start coming up with those things.
there was also most of this stuff was Ezekiel's ideas, and he just thought, we were trying to think of what we do, what our former life, and I guess who we are.
Well, to me,
we're not very cool people.
Yeah.
And so why not have something that's sort of a combination of, I guess at least in our brains, very cool,
right,
mixed with the most
Us.
uncool thing that could possibly be.
Part of it was definitely, not having heard any music really growing up. Most of the English friends I met, you were either into rock or you were into rap, or you were, there were kind of like these cliques formed of who liked what kind of music. And when the band started, the first 2 songs we played, when we were Ella Fitzgerald, was "Coming to America" or "America" by Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond,
"Coming to
yeah.
America" is the movie with Eddie Murphy.
We knew what you meant.
Yeah, "America" by
That would
Neil
be
Diamond.
amazing if you played that.
And "Insane in the Brain" by Cypress Hill were the 2 songs we first started playing. And I remember these guys being like, "You want to play a hip hop song?" And I said, "Yeah." But to me, it was all just music.
Right.
There was no, and it was all amazing in its own way. So from day one, we've always played stuff that other bands wouldn't even think to play.
Yeah.
And, the first time we ever played down the Jersey Shore, I'll never forget. We played a multi-day showcase, a bunch of bands at a place called Bar A, and we walked in the outfits, and people were just, giving us the ultimate side eye, and we got up and we jumped up with, we saw a bunch of great bands all playing similar rocks, the same kind of rock songs and the same kind of flavor of the day cover band stuff, and we got up and we did "Milkshake" by Khalees, and we did "G-Thing" by Snoop Dogg.
That's
and Dr.
so
Dre.
good.
And
I
it was
mean, that sounds like, I think if you just said that sentence without knowing, people would be like, there's no way that's good. And your version of that song is really good.
I mean, it was like a bomb went off.
Yeah.
I get excited thinking about it now, and it's been 19, 20 years.
so
It was
fun.
like a bomb went off.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's been a crazy ride since then.
And it wasn't really rocket science, to be honest with you, because at the time, what we were playing was actually the most popular music in the world. And what they were playing was stuff that, a very small percentage of the world really liked. But, I guess there was a certain element amongst the rock and, the bands of that particular area where, we're all going to play the Killers, and we're all going to, and there's nothing wrong with the Killers.
No, right.
But I'm just saying, after 4 bands played, I'm
Mr.
coming
Brightside.
out of my cage, that one, it was, a lot.
It was time for
something new,
something fresh.
But that was the long story of how we had the combination of Amish and hip-hop names.
Right.
But it's just like it made sense. It's like mix those 2 things together, and
That's so fun. Jacob, any story from joining in early or just something fun?
When I first met these guys, it was kind of wild because they, as you would imagine, meeting Amish people, I'd remember driving through Lancaster with my parents, going on vacation or whatever. You'd see Amish people, you'd
of course.
It's almost intimidating because they look, it's very serious. And I met these guys, and it was kind of intimidating at first. And it was just a wild time to meet people like that, and they used to pick my brain about what are you into, what music do you like, and they were like sponges.
It didn't take long. Didn't take long to pick his brain.
They're like sponges, huh? Like sponges.
Yeah.
Just.
And how does the show play in areas where there is more of an Amish community, like out in Lancaster, or even Ohio has a decent?
we were just in Ohio.
Yeah, we just played Ohio for the first time. We played in what town were we in?
It doesn't matter.
Nashport,
It's
Ohio.
a small state.
We played
No,
in
it's
Nashport,
not. It's
Ohio.
huge.
I mean, we do play in Lancaster. We played. We used to be called the Chameleon Club. They closed down during COVID. Now the same guy that ran it, Greg Barley, great guy, runs Phantom Power in Millersville.
Oh,
so
love
we
that
play
space.
out there. Yeah, it's an amazing room.
Really good
We do very, very well.
Mhm.
Ohio, for the first time we were out there, it was great. I mean, it was a 9.5-hour ride home the next day. That wasn't great.
That's
but we were so well received, and they rehired us for the following year that Monday.
Oh, that's
we played
awesome.
there Saturday, Monday. They rebooked us out there. I've had conversations with a bunch of former Amish people that are at our shows. A festival we did in West Virginia, the guy that had the unfortunate job of emptying the porta potties was a former Amish person that I had a whole long conversation with. A shitty job, but it was
literally.
Sorry, should I not use that word?
No, it's totally fine.
But yeah, we played. We go over well there. I mean, we've been blessed that. I mean, I can't think of a place where we've really tanked entirely. We've certainly had shows where there weren't a lot of people, but.
But I got to think that just predates your kind of the momentum of people being aware of that it's
Yeah,
a
that
on
is
stage.
an interesting thing. You mentioned before the Amish, the TV shows and all that stuff. It almost seemed like the band we started to take off, and suddenly the concept or the idea of the Amish became part of the
zeitgeist,
the
yeah.
general
Mhm.
the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
There were TV shows, there was the Kingpin the movie, there was all this stuff. Suddenly it was just
a thing.
Yeah, it was just becoming a thing. It was
Yeah.
always a thing for us, but it would it was something
Yeah,
people
we
were
definitely-
suddenly
Before that, it was just Witness, and that was it.
Yeah, it was just
definitely benefited us for sure.
Yeah.
You should cover like the music from that. That's a rip roaring good time. But I did a couple things here that I wanted to see. Like I always love at the end just coming up with like quick little trivia points. And again, may not be accurate because
Go
you
ahead.
guys are so funny. You might have just been
That's very
effing
possible.
with people. But I'm pretty sure this one might be accurate because you also had a photo. Did you once put a man's glass eye in your mouth?
Yes, it did.
Yes,
There
you
it
did.
is.
Yes, I did.
I was going to bring that up.
There you go.
I'm glad you brought it up first.
There's a photo of it. So we had that.
So a guy at a show
Yeah.
in Riverdale, New Jersey. I think it was actually the day we filmed our first promotional video. Just standing in front, popped out his glass eye and handed it to Abel, who was mortified and turned and handed it to me.
But no.
And being the idiot I am, I took it and I put it in my mouth and I acted like I swallowed it, but I did a sleight of hand. I did put it in my mouth. I'm going to say that again. I did put it in my mouth, but then, slipped it back into my hand and then swallowed and then acted like this is terrible. It acted like I was pooping it out. Like I dropped it down between my legs. And this gentleman, God bless him.
He was cocky-eyed instead of cockeyed.
He picked it right up and just popped it right back in his head.
God bless
And it
him.
wasn't a, I always pictured it being an orb. It was just like a cover.
Yeah.
It was like
Sure.
a big lens,
Right.
But yeah, I did put the guy's
Yeah, we have lots of disgusting people.
that was prior to, I'm sure that would have been all over prior to like real video cell phones.
Sure.
But somebody got a photo of it.
I had here, and again, Hezekiah, did you get rug burns on your head?
Oh, I hurt myself a lot. I mean,
he fell off the stage twice in the last 2 weeks.
I mean, to be honest, usually, considering, I'm not exactly, I don't look like a gymnast. Considering all of the stuff that I do, I should probably be hurt a lot more, but I do fall sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most ultimate me falling down story was in White Plains, New York. I climbed up on a bar, and a very nice wait staff person had just put an entire set of really nice glassware right next to me.
And a magnum of wine.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
And I slipped and broke all of it. Like, you heard like...
We actually have the audio of that. We had recorded that show, so you hear him going, oh, whoa, whoa! You hear the crash. Yeah. Oh yeah, the rug
it's
burn.
more like this. It's more like...
The rug burn, I think, was at Colorado Cafe. He did a head spin on carpet, and then had a little dome. Rug burn.
Well, when I was a kid, I used to try to do head spins. Now
I'm so glad these are true. Like,
he has that gift.
Are they just messing with an interviewer?
We played a place in Hampton Beach, New York, and Hez has the gift of finding the place to fall. Abel goes, hey man, there's a hole in the stage right there. He goes, okay. He starts the first song, Poison by Bubba DeVoe. Duck, 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 bump. He goes right in the hole. Immediately, like he was aiming for it. And then actually, was it in Ohio? No, it was a couple days before Ohio. He fell off the stage in Westminster, Maryland. We had like an 8-foot stage.
There you go. Come down to an Amish Outlaws show. Hez might fall off the stage.
He's very light on his feet, though.
Honestly, considering we do, I don't know, 170, 180 shows a year, the fact that I fall every once in a while, it's barely even fall.
On average, it's low.
Well, then last
but
week,
not zero.
Last week in Connecticut, they had monitors in front of the stage, or speakers that were triangular. So there was a triangle of open space, a triangle of open space, a triangle. All night, him and Abel were back and forth on them. And I kid you not, I thought to myself, I can't believe nobody's fallen into that. Oh, there we go. He fell right into it.
And then I guess Abel, one thing about Abel that may not come across on that photo is he's tall.
Yeah, he's 6'7".
Tall dude, tall drink of water. And it looks like he hit his head and almost passed out.
That was at Secrets in Ocean City. Yeah, he cracked his head on the hanging, like a speaker like this, right on the metal corner. Yeah, and almost went on.
Which they probably didn't plan for 6'8".
No,
singers.
but it's funny. I think it was Vince Neil. Was it Vince Neil or was it the guy from Poison?
I think it was Vince Neil.
Vince
Vince
Neil,
Neil performed there the week before, did a solo show. I think it was for Bike Week, and also somehow hit his head on that speaker. Maybe jumped really high.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not
I can't imagine him jumping very high.
Apparently, yeah, but apparently the week was up. That was after able to hit it. We're like, oh, Vince Neil hit his head in that last week.
And actually,
I was like, was he on the ladder?
BD actually fell. We were at Dewey Beach, Delaware.
No,
he tripped and fell off the stage, and dude, he's 300.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he's massive, massive.
Just watching it, it's like,
There are these two,
He's going down.
It
was
two
like-
tiny women standing there. I was like, oh man, we're screwed. They're screwed. And somehow, like, he
could
got
fall on
very
you and
agile.
kill you.
All of a
Yeah, yeah.
sudden, and he managed to like not crush them.
Yeah, but him
It was
falling
amazing.
is when like a giant falls in the movie, and it looks
Yeah.
like it's in slow motion.
Right.
But it's not. He's coming down.
Yeah, like the troll in Harry Potter. Like,
Yeah.
But he
Took
fell on the
forever.
ground. I was like, I thought he was knocked out for a second. All that weight. Just hit the floor. But no, it ended up well. Probably
is
saved us
amazing.
a couple lawsuits.
Yeah, we haven't lost one yet. Well, actually, there was another guy that sang for us for about a year. We were playing the Bent Elbow. Remember that place, Bent Elbow in Fort Washington? It had the center of the room was a circular bar. So we would play almost like in an alcove at the end, but the two of them were on the bar all night, and he jumped across the bar, and it was a wet spot, and landed on the wet spot, and kicked the woman full in the face. It was terrible. Like she was fine, and she was at a show a month later. It was like, yeah,
That's a joke. She was fine.
No, but she was fine. But it was like luckily again I don't think we've been sued yet. But it's still we got one more night to go.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, so that's the beauty here is you played last night over on Festplatz, which is kind of like the party stage. Today was going to be the bigger stage, but we've moved it inside because of the weather. But definitely check it out either tonight or any other time that you get a chance to see the Amish Outlaws. One highly respectable thing that you all do is it's not the same set all the time. So you're constantly adding new music, challenging it, and so on. Because obviously, if something has a good formula, you may not want to change it.
We try on,
but you do, like, you make sure it's going to be something in there that's fresh, and obviously the bangers are always going to be there, but you're bringing in some new, and obviously there's always more new good music to bring in. So anything new or special or surprising for tonight? Or
Well, last night was one set, and tonight is a completely different one.
that is so that's so great.
We're lucky to have enough material. Like we just did 2 nights in New Hampshire back to back in the same place. I think we repeated one song.
Mm-hmm.
Not even out of necessity. We just did it because it was a Bob Marley song, and people were unsurprisingly smoking marijuana. So the second we smell that, they call out the Bob Marley song. But tonight, we have an entirely new set of songs.
Yeah.
I try not to repeat a single one. Every once in a while, it will happen if you request something or something.
Of course.
But we have 2 entirely different shows.
Yeah, I mean,
Let me just tell you
impressive.
about the show. I just realized this is a great story.
Yeah.
Okay, so seriously, we're a Jewel Vile. We're funny. We like to have fun.
Of course.
Okay, but I'm telling you right now, none of us really do much. I mean, there's a little bit of drinking that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, but
yeah, and zero any other substances.
Sure.
Caffeine, a lot of caffeine.
So anyway, we played. Every year in Southern Maryland, we play this thing called the 420 Festival.
Right.
And it's at this, and I swear to you, it would be
In
like.
case doesn't people know, 420 Festival is very supportive of cannabis and marijuana.
Yeah.
Well, it's a grand opening of a place down there called the Tiki Bar Solomons. It always falls towards the end of April. This day it was on 420.
Right. And it was I tell you, it was as if the Doobie Brothers and Cypress Hill and Cheech and Chong, and let's see who else.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, okay. I mean, we're outside. I don't even know how this is possible. I don't. I don't know how you could get high from outside.
We were all so high. None of us
From
touched,
just contact.
I called my wife from the car on the way. We're all in the car giggling. I'm like, we're all so high. When do I get scared?
I can tell you right now, I know I'm not supposed to smoke pot or anything like that because I went straight to just having the worst headache ever.
But also,
there was no fun.
No joy.
The last thing we need is to be hungrier, too.
Yeah, that too.
We had Chinese before this. It's good.
That's good. That's good.
Where are we going to eat after?
Good call there.
Italian?
Italian, all right.
What's good at that?
Nana Salinas. Remember that place we ate at? That's a great breakfast. Anyway, sorry, we digress.
No, that's totally
So you
fine.
start talking about marijuana, we start talking about food right away. We don't
Yeah,
need
and
smoke.
so that does go together. But anyway, thank you so much for coming on the
course, thanks for
show.
having us.
This was an amazing just journey through the backstory and amazing falling off stage stories. But everyone really should check out the music. It's such a fun party, and you can also go to the site and request a booking. This is the type of thing that would be amazing for all sorts of different options. So definitely check out Amish Outlaws. Let's just bring that up here one more time. The site. Share. AmishOutlaws.com. And there's all sorts of other good things in here. Here's how you can get a booking. There's some photo images. Here's where you are on tour. So after Musikfest, there's other shows in Maryland and Delaware and all sorts of other great stuff going on. And then we always like to make sure we sling the merch because that's a great way to support bands. So T-shirts and all,
we have baseball hats now, and we have actually a new
that has to be updated.
A new tank top.
We have a bunch of new designs.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So Hezekiah, Ezekiel, Jacob, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on the show. Have a great set tonight. Sad the weather didn't allow basically half the population of southeastern Pennsylvania to come join this, but it's still going to be a great night, and people should try and get over there for it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And now we will close it out.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.